what you love, follow your bliss. If these things make you think, but I don't really have anything, keep watching. Hello and welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. My name is Sibylle and I help high-achieving women in their 40s and 50s to reprioritize their lives, to create space for the things they love and to find their unique life purpose. And if that sounds interesting, go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up for the 100% spam-free love/newsletter. I'd love to have you. Anyway, the problem with do what you love. I don't think I really have anything that I love is a sentence that I hear entirely too many times in my line of work. It's also not true. In fact, none of the people who've ever said this to me have in the end turned out to not have anything that they loved. They just didn't know about it. Your mission today is to learn what the problem is with do what you love and how you can move past it. Task number 1 is do what you love. How? I'm one of those people who tell you to do what you love and lots of it. And really it's everywhere. Follow your bliss, pursue your passion, right? The problem is that we live in a world that teaches us to function. We learn, study, work, make money, build a career, build a life. Our brains are so laser focused on the practical because that's all we're taught to laser focus on, right? The only other thing we're allowed to focus on is other people in terms of think of children, bringing up children, teaching children. You can also teach adults, obviously, teach and support others. That's also allowed. So given this focus on the monetary and the practical, either for ourselves or for other people, given this focus, it's no wonder that you feel like a deer caught in the headlight when somebody suddenly turns around to you and asks you, what do you love? You're like, oh, no idea. It has never been important before, right? And add to that the aforementioned brainwashing, the focus on the practical, and that can make it really hard to find what you love because most people can't think past this practical purpose. So even their hobby or interest needs to be something practical. I'll take up knitting because then I can make birthday presents for people I love. But what if your passion isn't practical? What if it doesn't sound cool? What if it doesn't look good on Instagram? You might miss it. I'll give you an example. I'm a gamer. This is one of my multiple passions, but I'm still careful where I mention this because people still have this stereotype of the gamer who's a man-child who lives in their mother's basement and that gaming makes you violent and all these things that have been proven over and over and over again to not be true, but I digress. It's not a hobby that is particularly expected of a woman in her 50s. And like I said, my clientele are women in their 40s and 50s. So it doesn't have to be gaming, but there's a lot of things that are just not expected or society approved. And it can be really hard to look past this. Task number 2 is how to move past this. At this point, I'm tempted to recommend to you to just take 2 heaping spoonfuls of don't give a shit every morning in your coffee or tea for 3 weeks. But of course, it's not that simple. We as a species, as humans, have it in our evolutionary DNA to care about what other people think. We might like to think, I don't pay attention to other people's opinion, but it's not true. We do on a very deep level because thousands of years ago, our survival depended on it. In a tribal society, if you're rejected and ostracized from society, that means certain death because you're no longer protected from predators or enemies or whatever, right? So this is very deep in us. So don't dismiss it. It's not a weakness. It's a very human thing. So to start to care less and to kind of move past this, one of the things I recommend to my clients is to research crazy hobbies. In the worst case, you'll spend a very entertaining hour on Google reading about sports like the wife-carrying race that they do in, I think, Finland, or other crazy sports and other hobbies. In the best case, you'll come across some fringe interest or something weird that actually catches your eye. And then you can pursue that a little further. And to make this easy, digestible, and suitable for a YouTube video, I've written down my best advice in a nutshell. Dare to be weird. I don't have to explain that. Again, care a little less about what others think. Be prepared to try different hobbies. It might not be the first thing that you try out. Try multiple things. Sign up for 11 different courses and just stick with the 2 that really speak to you in the end. Just experiment a little bit. Approach things with a childlike wonder. Children are amazingly open-minded. Try to adopt that attitude. Be silly. Look for something that has absolutely no purpose, no practical purpose at all. And don't care about being silly. We take each other, ourselves, way too seriously most of the time. And most of all, have fun. You might have to have a bit of patience. It might take some time, but eventually you'll stumble on something that rings a bell, that makes you happy. It'll be something that has no practical purpose, or even if it didn't have a practical purpose, you'd still do it. It doesn't need any justification beyond that it gives you joy. And then you'll know that you found it. Which brings me to task number 3, which is, as usual, let me know. Where are you with this? Do your passions, your bliss, your interests, your hobbies, does that play a priority role in your life? And if so, tell me about it. I love hearing about these things. And if not, maybe the video spoke to you, or maybe not, I'd love to hear what you think. So leave a comment below the video or reply to the email that you got the link to the video with. And like I said, if you would like to join the community of Wild Spirits, I'd love to have you on wildspiritscoaching.com. And now I wish you a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.